Alright, we are supposedly live. Hang on, I need to be able to see my goddamn... Yeah, we can have the chat over on the other side. Amazing. Alright. Let us see if this is actually going to function. We can certainly try. If you're a sane human being, unlike myself, you are sleeping in on this fine Sunday morning. But if you aren't sleeping in, and instead you, like me, are spending all available time hobbying or getting work done, you have my utmost genuine respect. The center of the week is for doing a lot of work. And we don't get a lot of time to hobby during the week like many of us would honestly prefer. So if I hold him there... That's so bright. That's ridiculously bright. Ah, man, I almost need this lamp like mounted like up above. Because I can hold him here, and you can see him fairly clearly. But he gets washed out pretty damn hard. Again, that could be my angle. Hang on, let me adjust my monitor. So if I'm looking at this, that's alright. I can always turn this over this way. I could have the camera pointed at myself, but you know. It is what it is. This is a test for all intensive purposes. Checking out. Hey, what's going on? Oh, so somebody's up on Sunday? Beautiful, beautiful. Good morning to you, sir. Yeah, we're just trying to get the stream in order. I would like to have hobby streams, maybe on like a few weeknights, maybe a weekend every now and then, just to get a little bit of community aspect together. And if people don't want to hobby by themselves, they want to drop in, say hello. I think that'd be nice for the channel to have. So that's what I'm working on right now. I'm trying to get all the kinks out. Cracked open the old laptop. I thought it died on me, to be honest, but we are we unearthed it from its grave, and we seem to be running pretty smoothly. YouTube is giving me all green lights in terms of like no latency or frame drops or anything like that, which is good because OBS can be pretty finicky. I'm trying to mess with the lighting situation on my desk right now. I have a big lamp that's like my main source of light, and I'm a little blind, so I need. Oh, from Adepticon vid. Oh, so about Adepticon, I am actually taking this year off. I've gone to the last 3 Adepticons in a row, and having such a, I mean, you can see my desk right now. This is like all, mostly this is all from a Christmas present from a friend last year. I have 3 Imperial Knights on sprue that need to be built, and then a whole slew of AdMech that I'm working on. So I needed, both like financially and hobby space wise, I really needed to take a break from headed to the con. My friends are also a little broken up about that. They wanted me to go, but nope. We'll be taking this year off from the event. That will give me time to hobby up, take care of, try out some different videos for the channel and such, and really get me raring to go for next year. I think taking a year off will let me really tap back into my enjoyment of the hobby, and I think I will be better for it. And I'm a little disappointed because Adepticon is always such a fan freaking tastic thing to go to. If you've never been, I recommend it wholeheartedly if you can swing it. But yep, not going to be going there this year, which again I'm very sad about. But as the Tao say, it's for the greater good, or for my greater good at least. But in the meantime, then, if I'm not at Adepticon, I'll be checking in on the events and stuff. Hopefully, get a video of all the reveals and a few things. We're hoping to see a teaser of 11th edition for the upcoming year. Man, hobby. I have never done. I mean, this is quite literally a test stream. You joined at the perfect time. Trying to figure out exactly how to make this even watchable / entertaining. But there's a first time for everything. As long as I sit forward. Yeah, the problem is the glare. The glare from my main lamp. I'm actually gonna try something real quick. I'm going to ditch the paintbrush for the time being. Let's try swapping these around. I have 2 lamps on my desk. One is very strong, but it has like a very short neck. And as a result, it can be... I'll put the mic over here. As a result, it can be encoding overloaded, turning down video settings. Oh, my CPU is going crazy. Well, consider turning down video settings using a faster encoding preset. You know what? Let me check that real quick. But yeah, preview for 11th. It's like 99% confirmed. It's been a good long while since we saw 10th. They've gone through pretty much everything. We're waiting to see what happens with the demons and their codexes. So, trying to figure that. Hang on. I need to. Okay, my computer is sending out a cry for help at the moment. So turn down video settings. Settings. Use a faster encoding preset. Down for help me to my stream from a watching perspective? Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'd love to bounce some things off you. Outputs. Audio bit. We're gonna go. Okay, we're going to apply. We're gonna step the encoder down 1 preset. Okay. There we go. So we are... Okay, so everything's going to refresh really quick. Dun dun dun. Provided everything snaps back. Moderation, etc., etc. Thank you, beautiful. Okay. So we have turned down... Yeah, we've turned down the CPU usage a little bit. It looks like everything is still in the green. Things are refreshing. And the camera's still going good. Is that my computer? Oh yeah, I can hear my laptop's going crazy. And we're dropping quite a few frames. Although honestly, it shouldn't matter too much for a hobby stream. Again, this is all just very, 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 very experimental. Okay, beautiful. Okay, that seems to have helped quite a bit. If I turned it down anymore, okay, it looks like we're picking back some of the frames. Honestly, I'm just gonna let it chill on that while I move these lamps around, try and get an adjustment to the lighting. All right, let me. Oh, nope, that's gonna happen. Let me try this. If I can. Oh, what are you doing on the desk? Hello? Project that has nothing to do with Warhammer. Excellent, beautiful, magical. Okay, so that there and that there. So if we move the camera back slightly, move this back. So that turns out, so now if I have, okay, so if I put this guy up to the screen, God, he's still so bright. He's so insanely bright. I previously moved a lamp from a different location. I wonder if I'm putting it back, we could have something that looks a little less glaring. Because there's no way, because this lamp I'm using is like ultra bright, but it doesn't have any alternate settings. So it's full blast or nothing. On the upside is a very long cord. So I can adjust it to however much I... Alright, let's give that a try. Alright, we have moved the lamp back to its place of prominence atop the hobby space. Sound is perfect, crisp, and not. Oh, I'm so relieved to hear that. That's beautiful because that is honestly the cheapest part of this whole setup. I had a random. I have a random like USB audio mic that I found that had like semi decent quality. It required a separate USB adapter to actually like get it functioning and held in. But other than that, it seems to be working wonderfully. Let me get the rest of this garbage out of here. Dun, dun, dun. Okay. And obviously working on something that's yellow, white, which is a lot of my main stuff. Here, let me grab something. Let me grab a darker miniature. There's your Death Company Dreadnought. There we go. So I put this guy here. Oh, that looks wonderful. You can see all the effects. Oh, actually, I can move the camera up a little bit to give myself a little more space. Also, I have to be sure I can actually sit comfortably because my chair's a little funky. There we go. Move it back a little bit. So then that's like over the desk. I can hold them up. The camera looks pretty good. I'm seeing a lot of details. I'm not seeing any lag on the stream. CPU's, it's doing what it's doing, but we're not dropping any frames. So that is the beautiful. Yeah. Excellent. Well, and so if we swap it out with this Terminator, he's gonna be a little crispy, but that looks a lot better in terms of not being quite so bright. I have a secondary light. I mean, I can actually just pull the camera back real quick. We have a ring light here that comes in 3 different flavors, which is like warm, or like warm, cold, and like white. And then the other lamp is up there now. It was right here next to it and just like kind of shining directly down on the main space. But we moved it up there, so it's got some distance and it's providing a much wider glow. Previously I had it down here because I really wanted to like back my chair up and focus, but that looks like it's going to be a way better look for the stream, which I will take. And currently we have the little microphone just sitting here on the desk. Okay, so we will rock with that for the time being. And this overhead cam has a tendency to freeze up sometimes, so I just have to check it every now and then. But that looks like it's going to be pretty good in terms of being able to see things. I'm not really down for showing my face, at least not yet. I mean, I'm on the channel, so people know what I look like. But maybe this secondary camera can be face cam eventually. But I'd much rather get into the hobby of just not worrying about that and streaming maybe more consistently, maybe once a week. Consistency is key, but now we have to do the actual difficult part of a hobby stream, which is actually hobbying. Maintaining my focus while being able to maybe communicate with somebody. Zalin, I really appreciate you stopping by. It's nice to have somebody to bounce off and get some of these technical bugs out of the way. Really appreciate it. We are... Okay, we're still in the green. Looks pretty good. And, yeah, let's just get back to it. Currently we are working on... Marine slop, as it is in its greatest form, is what we are working on today. We have a whole pile of Adeptus Astartes that was a Christmas gift from a friend last year. He had a whole shoebox of Marines he did not want anymore because he was phasing out like all of his stuff that wasn't orcs, and my buddy eventually ended up kind of phasing himself out of like large 40k in general, sticking to kill team and boarding actions. Which, if you have not played boarding actions, I would absolutely recommend. It is a beautiful game. Beautiful game. And I've been missing it, so once I get out of hobby mode and actually start chilling and actually start being able to get out and play some games again, I will be very, very happy to get back into some boarding actions. Maybe whip out the old Mechanicus, get a few other things. All right. I gotta get used to having my hand in a good position. Okay, that looks pretty good. I'm resting my forearms on the edge of the desk. The other camera's really doing nothing right now, which is honestly fine for the time being. I don't really need to worry about that. Yeah, we're gonna go for like maybe about half an hour till about 10 o'clock. Then I gotta get out and actually do some real life work. This is just a little quick stream to have me get a good excuse to get some paint on the miniatures and get the stream set up, because I've been meaning to do this for a minute, but I have been putting it off. I've had a lot of other things going on. As far as what's going on with the channel itself, I actually filmed a experimental battle report with two of our local members. I've dumped all the footage, and I'm looking to maybe get into editing that sometime late next week. It's really going to depend on how much progress I can make on these guys here, because I'm a very much a momentum based hobbyer. Like, the more I accomplish on a certain project, the quicker I accomplish it, the more I feel like I can accomplish next time I sit down. Next time I put paint on it, my hand remembers where to go, what exactly I'm painting, what to fill in. It's something that I've always been, in terms of like how quickly I hobby, because I only paint by brush. I don't have an airbrush. Half the board connections board and the Tomb World, amazing. Oh yeah, because the Kill Team stuff is only about a quarter of a board, isn't it? I would have loved to get my hands on some of those Necron walls. And actually, funny about Necrons. Necrons are actually one of the like future hobby projects that I have. I don't know if you've ever played Destiny or such, but there's a robotic species called the Vex. They have like a very distinctive, like orange, like chrome copper kind of look, and they get and they have all these like funky heads that I found 3D prints for. So making some Vex Crons is something I've collected a few Necron units for. Maybe work on that in the future. Beautiful. Okay, so yeah, currently on the minis on the desk we have a bunch of Marines. We're working down a list of different colors to apply to everything. Like, we've done white and purity seals, we've done all the silver, we've done all the gold on all the different miniatures, like the wing on the front and such, and any other little bits. But currently we're doing red. So we're going through every miniature. We're going to hit all the red sources. So crack grenades. So for me, crack grenades, it'll be the chain swords, and the first base coat of the lenses. Just to work on those at a later date. All the fine details on these Marines, like their chapter decal, like the glow engines on the jump packs or little things, those will be towards the end. But yeah, getting through all these assault troops is going to be the main like time sink right now. Once we get past the assault troops over here, so we got 10 on foot and 10 with jump packs. Those will be the red on everything else, as far as I'm aware, is limited to like purity seals and maybe a few holster items. So I shouldn't be stuck too long on red, which is good, because the primary time sink for these guys, as always, is yellow. Yellow is something I'm used to painting, but painting by hand still takes me a good long while. I'm very slow. If I had 5 wishes for a genie, one of those wishes is, please, Lord, let me paint faster. 3 wishes, no. I've thought long and hard about if I only had 3 wishes, and those are more important. I just have to settle for being a little bit of a slow painter. But slow and steady, as they say, gets you where you're going. Sunday morning is always a nice time for me to sit down and do some hobby work. Nice and quiet. Nobody's calling me up. Got some cleaning around the house done, so that's always a feel-good preposition. That's always a feel-good situation. Went to the gym way early in the morning before anybody else was there. And yeah, so come 10 p.m., we're gonna be headed out to do some shopping, get food for the week, do all that fun stuff, and then just kind of spend the rest of the day chilling, hanging out with buds, making the use of the rest of the weekend as I can. Tomorrow night, hopefully, video quality of the mini hand is only periodically choppy, but again, not that important, so you can see all the details. Oh, beautiful. Yeah, we're dropping a few frames every now and then because my CPU is doing its best. Yeah, early quiet. Yeah, it's honestly the best. And honestly, like, I'm experiencing it just now. This is the first time, like, genuinely, like, doing painting stream, where I'm kind of speaking, talking. I've streamed as a hobby, like games and other such, on a different personal account. Haven't had much time for it lately, primarily because of this. But streaming while doing anything kind of puts you in a different mood where normally I'm the kind of person that has to have something like playing in the background. I need to have music or a video or a battle report or like some form of content just to kind of break the silence a little bit. And I'm sure it doesn't help me focus, but the thought of hobbying in like dead silence by myself is never something that's appealed to me. We're gonna have to go over these chainsaw details with black again eventually, but that's fine. That'll be an easy fix. But yeah, streaming gives you something to talk about, well, not necessarily something to talk about, but a reason to talk beyond just like speaking to yourself. And we have like such a wonderful community with Lucky Ones that I feel like this would be a nice thing to have people rally behind. Maybe if you want to check in and just tell me what you're painting, tell me what you're working on. You too, Zalon? Yep. Beautiful. Well, Zalon, why don't you tell me what you're working on? I'd love to hear what kind of hobby projects you got on the desk, if any. I made a big mistake this year of just acquiring a little too much without managing to get through a lot. Because I've been working on these Marines for maybe it's been at least over a month now. I was able to prime these guys in the cold because I set up a vent tent in my house upstairs. Was able to get some primer out there while feeding the fumes out the window without any problems. But even then, the cold was still really limiting my desire to paint. I've been hosting for 5 years, hours on end to a small audience. Really, a lot of fun to connect. Yes, it is. The Twitch side of like my personal stuff never really went anywhere. Partly because I realized like I didn't have the time I wanted to commit to it to get what I wanted out of it. So I've just kind of put that on the back end until at least I upgrade my computer, which is long overdue. And but in the meantime, I'm exploring this side, trying to just get my Warhammer under control, which, you know, it's a constant struggle for all of us to buy less, paint more, and save your money for groceries, because we need those. Thankfully, a lot of people in local groups have been dumping a lot of Adeptus Mechanicus, so I am feasting off of that currently. That'll be a fun project once I finally get down to it. Alright, so one guy done, done. Get the crack grenade done. I've always painted my crack grenades red. I don't know why. I think they're like black, like by standard, in terms of like actual pictures and such, but I don't know. Having a little bit of red contrast with the yellow. McDonald's meme aside, it's I find it always like very striking and fun to look at. On top of that, the Lamenters being all about blood and falling to the red thirst despite everything is a nice reminder of the blood that follows them wherever they go. Still not dropping any frames. Woohoo! Yeah, this laptop is a absolute champion. Damn near over a decade old, but still chunking out. Be able to chunk out a live stream like nobody's business. I actually thought I lost it, like in terms of like it dying earlier this week. Excuse me. When I tried to boot it up, I thought I had it plugged in, but turns out I'm actually smarter. I actually outsmarted myself, thinking, "Oh God, I left the laptop plugged in for like 2 years." Nope, I disconnected it from the wall. It just had no power. That's why it wouldn't turn on. I have a big pile of shame as well. I enjoy collecting building. Currently building a Trazen Artifact Acquisition Force. And some Leviathan Nids. We love to see some Tyranids. Tyranids may be my sworn enemy, but that does not mean I cannot appreciate their aesthetics. The Tyranids and I have a beautiful, beautiful like love-hate relationship of I want you dead, you want me dead, and as such our games are always cinema. If I were to ever get my hands on any Nids, which I don't think I will at any degree. I'm not exactly a Xenos enjoyer. I can appreciate their aesthetics and like them, but I don't think I'd ever buy or paint them myself. But High Fleet Tiamat is a color scheme I've always vibed with. Kind of like pale jade green, like kind of stepping away from like the more bombastic colors of Leviathan. Something I've always enjoyed the look of. There we go. That looks pretty good. Dun, dun, dun. I think I missed a spot on this one. I'm just going back real quick. Yep. Click, click, and done. Currently we're just using a GW paint. I actually don't think they make this name anymore. We're using Mephiston Red as just our base coat. I think they changed the name. I think they changed the name a while ago to something else that's the exact same hue. I can't remember what it is, but this pot is almost gone. So next time I'm at my LGS, I'll probably have to pick up a fresh pot of this. I always use excuse me. I always use GW paints for base coats. Well, I tend to use them for base coats because they honestly just layer on so like cleanly and nicely with a thin coat. And then I have a brighter shade of red with Liquitex Basics that just kind of sits nicely in one or two coats. Also doing a good job of talking and painting at once. Streaming is like a radio show. Dead air is noticeable. Yes, it is. That is something. And I guess this can go back a little bit into me trying out like streaming on Twitch, just like as for fun. So a friend of mine, she streams like as a VTuber. So her getting on board, she encouraged me to actually give it a try myself. So I hooked up like a free PNG. We did some streams together. Did some YouTube videos out of it as well. But streaming Dead by Daylight was kind of how I learned to like approach streaming, because learning how to speak as if you have a very attentive audience, even if there's nobody there or like very few people there, is very difficult if you're not used to doing it yourself, or if you're not used to doing it consistently. Because yeah, you're absolutely right. Dead air is... Oh, I just broke something. Oh my god, these 3D prints have these little findly fins that oh, that's expected, but whatever, I'll fix that later. But yeah, dead air is unbearable on a stream. Yeah, GW and two thin coat. GW is wonderful for base coats. Or I guess it's Citadel now with that whole pot change. I saw people being like upset about that, and I was so confused. Oh, I forgot the lenses on this guy. Okay, give me a second. And see, I'm literally forgetting like parts of red because I'm devoting a lot of brain power to speaking. But yeah, talking and like performing an action, whether it's playing a game, painting a miniature, like organizing something. Like I did my taxes this year while my friends and I were playing Among Us, which is not a smart thing to have done. But hey, it all worked out. I was able to focus, and I'd like to think it's thanks to streaming that I was even able to that I'm even able to multitask to that degree. God, that's such a funny phrase to me, which is honestly why I'm kind of glad I did it. But yeah, no, learning to talk and perform an action like for over an hour at a time is tricky. You have to find something to speak about, even if it's not like a super interesting topic. If you have the teeth to be a good streamer, to be somebody who's fun to listen to, somebody who's fun to just be around, even if nothing like dramatic or super interesting is happening, that's beyond valuable when it comes to that. Like being a skilled orator, I believe it's how it's pronounced, it takes practice. It takes a lot of work. It takes repetition. It takes reps. So a lot of my initial streams of just like playing games and such were spent. I would talk about the gameplay a lot. That was always my fallback. But I also then grew into different topics. Being able to like talk about my day, talk about what I was cooking, what I was drinking, what I hoped to do like during the week, what everything was looking like, and then learning to weave that in and out of talking about gameplay instead of relying on it completely was something where I feel like I really kind of started to get the hang of it. And those skills never really go away, so I'm kind of doing my best to translate those into this as well. And obviously, the more people you have in chat, the greater the easier it is to like get conversations going because chatters will talk to each other. You can talk to them. Like you and I are bouncing off each other perfectly. Yeah, label changes to paints help potential buyers recognize older paint. That is true. And yeah, I have my talks about real life stuff and food. Oh God. Okay, we have a warning. Warning. The stream. Okay, something's happening. I'm gonna click on this. Yeah, okay, this is the first warning label. Let's see if something happens. Let's open this up. We're dropping a few frames, but that's okay. I just wanted to make sure nothing's getting destroyed. Worst case scenario, I can just buy some extension cords and run this from my main computer, which is currently sitting across the room. So it's not like this any. Let me rephrase that. It's not like any sort of technical dilemma here will put a kibosh on streams entirely, because I would love to do this more often. Give me an excuse to sit down and do some more hobbying instead of just playing Final Fantasy XIV or doing something else distracting. Although the buddy has been demanding I play some Monster Hunter with him ever since they announced some of those late game quests. So maybe we'll make some time for that. Okay, you broke a fin, so you get to sit over here in the corner of shame while I work on your brothers and such. And oh yeah, and I'm gonna be missing a lot of details on little bits as I'm trying to get to talk and actually get full coverage. Okay, so I'm currently opening YouTube Studio. We've been going for about half an hour, which is fine. Let me make sure the chat is repositioned here. Oh yeah, my computer's going to be doing a little bit of tough work right here, trying to open up the studio in the background. It currently says we haven't dropped any frames, so I'm not quite sure what this alert was, but hopefully it's nothing major. In the meantime, let's get this purity seal. Red it up. Beautiful red, beautiful red. Click that up. Yeah, and a lot of these little elements are going to require a second pass later on, but that'll be towards the end when the miniature is basically completed, and I'll feel much better about where we are. It says excellent. So I don't know... Okay, the alert went away. Alright, I guess we're fine. Must have been temporary. Is Alan, what mobile game did you stream? I'm curious. I haven't played a mobile game in a very, very, very long time. Must have been back in high school. And we are well past those days of the mid 2010s, but last mobile game I remember like actually committing a decent bit to was I think it was like a Battlefield game. It was like a Battlefield game that got ported to mobile to have like its own little campaign and multiplayer. I don't think they make those kind of games anymore, unfortunately. It's a lot of gacha. It's a lot of heretically generated machine games that are just kind of sloppy and messy. Yeah, having a consistent stream will keep you accountable for hobby and on track to get your projects done. Start live stream again, but just for painting. Yep, we all need to paint more minis. Honestly, that's a great catchphrase. Paint more minis. Like, get out there. Remember to paint more minis. Buy less, paint more. Maybe it sounds a bit heretical because you always need more, but especially these days, we could always do to finish what's on our plate before we look at going back to the buffet. Dawn of Titans. I have never heard of that game. Interesting. Speaking of mobile games, just a little something that triggered me a little bit. There was a show called Metabots. It was like a cartoon about like robots, like robot fighting, where like kids would like train their Metabots to row battle and such. They had a few video games. It wasn't the most popular IP in the world, but I enjoyed it greatly as a kid. Recently, on the App Store, or on the Google Play Store, it's been recommended to me a game called Metabots Survivors, where somebody just like ripped the Metabot brand and like shoveled a bunch of AI generated Metabots into one of those like horde like idle games. So I saw the posting of it and I got really really excited. I'm like, oh my god, like an actual Metabots game. No, it was it turned out to be one of those like idle sim like 8 billion XP games, and I was very disappointed. British company, the game developer got in contact with me and became an influencer for them. A British company called Natural Motion. Awesome! Got a whole gig going on there. That's excellent. Yeah, the thought of doing content has always been on my mind. I enjoy entertaining. I enjoy talking with others. My full-time job keeps me very busy, though. Well, not necessarily busy, but I work 10-hour days, standard. It's a physically demanding job, so the energy I possess when coming home from work is usually not the greatest during the weekday, which is why I tend to get most of my hobbying done on the weekends themselves. How we doing there? This has an autofocus. Let's see if so I can hold it low. Yeah, that looks a little better. Etc. Dun dun dun. Encoding overloaded. Okay, that error keeps popping up, but nothing seems to be happening. So I'm simply gonna let it vibe, and we're not gonna complain if there's no issues. Yeah, these lenses, the lenses on my Marines actually are like a little bit of a process in and of themselves, but we're not gonna worry about that until far deeper into the process. But putting on the base coat here while I'm doing the rest of the red elements is just something nice and convenient. It'll save time for me later on. So yeah, looking forward to getting past this step. That'll be fine. Dun dun dun. Dun 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 dun. So yeah, after this, after these Marines are done, we've got a few characters on the desk that you can kind of see in the background there. Wait. The live streams and vids are all done from my phone. I had a tablet and other phone for people to join Discord Voice Live. Interesting. Getting my hands on, well, feeling like, and I mean, you go online, you watch any sort of how to get started in streaming or tips for your first Twitch stream and other stuff. A ton of the advice always boils down to, don't worry about your equipment. You don't need a fancy Blue Yeti microphone. You don't need 3 camera views. You don't need this. You don't need that. You need like a representation of yourself, whether it's a avatar, whether it's a camera shot of you, whether it's a VTuber, whether it's a PNG, whether it's even just a logo. You need that and whatever you're streaming, whether it's a game, like a live stream of hobby or whatever, and then just click go live. That's all the advice, and I bought into a lot of that. I didn't go out and buy any fancy microphones. I already had like a decent headset, and just being able to practice without feeling the need to invest anything, because it's a trap a lot of people fall into. So I had advice from my friend as well to just kind of dive in without worrying too much about the end results, and I think that's the best thing for any hobby. Don't set yourself up for weird expectations. Other small channels. After the game shut down in 2022, community disappeared. Oh, it's always sad to see an era of enjoyment come to an end. A lot of I have never really had any of my I guess I've been, in this day and age, I've been kind of fortunate to not have any of my like games I enjoy or like communities I really really bond with get shut down. I guess the closest thing was the original Destiny coming to an end but then we got a sequel out of it. So most of the fun and the content I followed suit, and I enjoyed that for a good bit of time. But having something like that happen to me would probably really really crush me if I was like really committed to a certain community or certain game. I mean, I've seen it a little bit for myself where like certain mobile games no longer exist. I actually remember I went through there was an adventure game on mobile that I would play during high school that was called Zenonia, and it was like a fantasy RPG series. I believe the games cost money, but they were cheap, like maybe $2 or $3. And the main way that they wanted to get more money out of you was for you to be able to like fast track your leveling process. But I remember the third game specifically having like such a cute and like adorable and like wonderful like opening menu theme, like this beautiful chime, and the story was cute and the characters were lovely, and I remember just enjoying the hell out of it. So much so that I actually went and found a specific. I went and found a specific Discord server for Xenonia fans who had recompiled the games into their own files for you to re-download. And I actually still have Xenonia 3 on my phone to this day because of that. I haven't sat down and played it in a while, but I'm very glad to be able to hold on to it and do that. Beautiful. Okay, so done with that. I still have the one guy who broke his effing backpack fin, but we will deal with that later once I am ready to stop stream. We got... Oh, actually, yeah, we only got a few minutes left. So I think we're actually going to try and call it there. I'm going to... God, yeah. These 3D backpacks are cool. You got, like, big jet engines in the back, but these 4 little fins that you can adjust that you're supposed to glue, man, these things fall apart. Found Warhammer in 2021, and here I am. Yep, no, this is... I got into Warhammer about, like, sometime 2020... Kind of about that time, maybe, like, towards the latter end of 2021, where I was really looking for something to do artistically. COVID was obviously a massive... COVID was obviously a massive part of it. COVID spurred me to start painting Dungeons and Dragons miniatures. Big fan of D&D, have been forever. Oh my god, these effing glue tubes are such a pain sometimes. Okay, put a little bit of glue on there. Don't touch it to anything else. Let's get this tweezer hooked up. There we go. So now we're going to place this on the backpack. We're going to hold it there. And we're going to hold it there. And we're not going to move for at least 30 seconds. Oh, Zelen, you're so welcome. Thanks for stopping by and helping out. I really appreciate your help. Glad you've been enjoying the channel. Hope to see you again in future videos and future live streams as well. Oh, it's actually going to stay up. There we go. We'll put a little drop of extra glue on here just to help seal it in and there. So that we'll put that way at the top of the desk and not mess with it any longer. All right. That is going to be it for this Sunday morning test stream. I kind of like what we've found here. It seems that the laptop is able to handle everything, so I don't need to go overboard with like getting any additional programs or such. It seems we can have a nice stream for the community going forward. Until then, I've been Donovan. Thank you so much for watching with us this beautiful Sunday morning. When I knew my mobile game was dying and all the franchises I love are all pretty stagnant, so yeah, Warhammer's pretty future proof. Yeah, Zalon, oh, you're so welcome. I'll see you guys next time. Until again, buy more, paint less. Buy less, paint more, and we'll see you next time. Bye bye.